All right, we are previewing the Browns versus the Chargers game coming up this week, and we're going to get right to the chase. We do not like to waste your time here on the Brownie Points podcast. Levi, what is your prediction going into this game? What do you think is going to happen? And scores.
First of all, I think the Chargers are semi-pretenders. I just don't think they're all that good.
Correct.
When you look through their wins, they're 4-3. The teams they've beaten just aren't very good. They got too early against the Panthers and the Raiders. Good for you.
Nah, yeah, who cares?
They got a win last week over the Saints, who are playing a backup quarterback, missing a ton of people on defense, and Rashid Shaheed. And it was a one-possession game until the fourth quarter. Not that impressive.
Not a good win. Yeah.
Solid win against the Broncos. Still was a close game. It was tough, but they got it. Solid enough. And then the other three they lost, including a bad loss to the Cardinals just 2 weeks ago. So, not super blown away by them. Their defense...
Like they're 4-3, but they're... When you look at the quality of their wins, they're not necessarily a 4-3 team. Not that 4-3 is so amazing, but they're not even necessarily at a 4-3 level team.
No, exactly. They're all right. No, their defense is pretty good. J.K. Dobbins is good, and they have Ladd McConkey's breaking out at receiver. He's still a rookie, but he's breaking out. So that's basically how it breaks out. And of course, there's Herbert, but I don't need to tell you about Herbert. My point is, he's somewhat limited, though, because he doesn't have the weapons he's had in years past. Now, Ladd McConkey breaking out has helped him out a little bit. But against the Browns, whose defense is really starting to emerge again, and you've got Denzel Ward. Now, if you have Denzel Ward tailing Ladd McConkey, I'm taking Ward every single time, especially because not only is he having a great year, he is on a run. Zay Flowers and Jamar Chase did not do a whole lot. Like, he is doing his thing. I don't believe Ladd McConkey is going to be the one. No offense to Ladd. He's looking good. He's a rookie, but there's levels.
Yeah, it sounds like you're being like medieval, like no offense to the lad, but
but you know what I'm saying.
He's a good lad, but yeah, he can't hunt a route tree. Okay,
I mean, no offense to the McConkeyites. Yeah. And there are people who have loved him before the draft, and credit to you if you're a big guy in Lad. I didn't really have an opinion on him. Good for you if you were pushing for him because he's showing up.
Yeah.
Good, but
he's likely not the guy that's going to beat Denzel Ward.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to trash Denzel. Maybe he'll get a few catches, but I don't think he's going all over him. And that will make it very hard because, you know, they can stack a little more. I think you're just going to see man a little more stacked on the line to make sure JK doesn't kill you. And that's just going to put a lot of stress on Justin Herbert. And I don't think the offense is going to score a whole lot. On the other hand, I think the Browns offense, yeah, it's going to have its issues. I think it should be a little more controlled game plan. It's not the Ravens. You don't have to be like, oh, let's put up 1,000,000 points. But on the other hand, because you want to try to cut down on the turnovers a little more because they do have a good defense and their offense is going to score 1,000,000 points. So more take your opportunities as they come and maybe try not to turn the ball over. Be a little more careful with that because as long as you keep a steady stream of points and good drives, you should be fine. I do think the win because it is a very balanced attack. So when you look at, you've got Moore and Judy playing well, but now Tillman, and then on top of that, you got Njoku. You've got four really good targets, and Njoku with his athleticism really gives you that fourth target that can really. You don't some tight ends are still a little more limited. Like Njoku really can go a whole lot of places because of his athleticism. So that just opens up a lot of the field. And Chubb's starting to get his legs under him, and with Foreman, just being a couple of runs is nice. And so the running game is looking solid. You've got all these different receiving options. As such, as long as Winston stays calm. I think the opportunities will be there to score, and as long as they stay consistent and score and not get too worried about playing the glamour game, I think our defense is going to play great, and therefore I think the Browns win, and I'm thinking they're going to win 24-13.
Okay, so you're predicting the offense to be about what it was last week, more or less. But you're predicting the defense to really put the clamps on the Chargers because 13 is not a whole lot.
Well, 24-13 is like 260 and 2 touchdowns. It's
yeah,
like
sure.
30 and 3.
I got the Browns at winning this game at 24-20. It feels really good to be predicting the Browns to win again. Not that we were right so much before when we predicted them, but it turned out they were much worse than we thought they were going to be. We kind of hit this point 3 weeks ago. I was like, I'm predicting the Browns to lose every single week from here on out because there's no reason to think otherwise. And now all of a sudden we've got this new hope. And yeah, I think the Browns are going to win this game 24-20. I think the offense will be more or less what we saw last week. I will say they got to watch out for those interceptions because from an evaluator's perspective, Jameis Winston did throw a game-losing interception last week. The Ravens dropped it, but it was right in their hands. The merit of Jameis Winston was that he did kind of lose that game. But at the end of the day, he did a lot of other good things that put them in the lead and got them the touchdowns that they needed to even be in that position in the first place. So he still deserves credit. He still played a good game overall. But that's something to be concerned about, those interceptions. It didn't happen this past week, but he threw a number of pick-worthy balls. And if he does that again this week against the Chargers, maybe some of those get picked. I think the Ravens drop more picks than any other team in the league. Maybe the Chargers don't drop those, and that could easily change the face of the game, even if it's against the run of play. Like the Browns are driving and playing well. Those interceptions could obviously upend all of that. So I'm a little nervous about that, and I think that if the Browns lose, that's how they would lose. Yeah. I am still predicting, though, the Browns to win this game 24-20. Who do you think is going to be the biggest standout from that game? For let's talk about the offense, so let's talk about the defense. Let's assume that the Browns win. Who's the cause of that on offense? Do you think we're going to see another 300-yard, 3-touchdown game from Jameis Winston? Do you think Nick Chubb is going to finally fully break out and have his 100-yard game? Yeah?
I think it's Nick Chubb who's going to have the big game. I did see James Conner break out a couple weeks ago against this team. I've seen the Steelers do well against this team. I think there is a little room in the run game. I think Jim's going to be solid, but I think he's going to be asked to tone it back. 220 to 240 probably. I thought 260, but probably 220, 240.
Do you know? Because, I mean,
maybe 250,
Joe
2
Flacco
touchdowns.
was slinging every week.
I know, but I this is my opinion.
Yeah, I'm just asking.
I mean, I can't say for sure. And on the other hand, Nick Chubb was out.
Yeah, I mean, they might not have felt like there was any other choice.
Joe Flacco's
40 years old. So,
You mean, like, Joe Flacco's 40. Also, yeah, again, like, Nick Chubb wasn't in, though, so you didn't have the same confidence in the run game. I think the run game's starting to pick back up. You saw it last week. It wasn't that full, but I think the weakness is there. I think if the running game is looking good, with Chubb back there, he's inclined to trust it. And he'll still, like, throw, so probably, like, again, in that 220, 240 range, maybe even 250, a couple touchdowns. But then I think the run game is going to be the hero. I think he'll put up 100. I don't think it's going to be like 180, but I think it'll be like 100, 110.
He'll finally break that mark.
Yeah, more or less. Or he'll be around there, but you got a couple from Foreman. So it might be like an 85-25 from 25 from Foreman. So you might see that, but it'll be good effort in the run game. I think Chubb will ultimately be the best player in that game for the offense. I think he'll be the big difference maker from week to week. And so I think that's what...
Yes, okay.
The biggest difference maker from week to week will be Chubb, and that'll be the improvement. And that's where I think the standout player of this game on offense is going to be. And then defense, I just see it being Denzel Ward again.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with the point on defense. On offense, I think Nick Chubb is going to continue to improve. I don't think he's quite ready for that breakout game. I think that's going to happen next week. But I think this coming week, I see Nick Chubb finishing with about 80 yards. Hopefully he can be efficient, but I'm looking for him to get about 80 yards. I think Jameis is going to have about 250, 2 touchdowns. The question is, will he also have 1 or 2 picks with that? We'll see. Who do you think is going to be the leading receiver from this game? I mean, this past one was Cedric Tillman, but a lot of them were in that similar like 60 to 80 yard range, a number of 80 yard receivers. Who do you think is the leading receiver in this game? Do you think it's going to be Cedric Tillman again?
That one's a little tough. You're inclined to think that way. He will get more attention, though, probably this week due to being back-to-back weeks.
That's what I was thinking. He's going to start getting more attention because of what he's done, and he's a big receiver. I think they're going to be very concerned about just leaving him one-on-one. And then...
I think he's good. I thought I caught a few balls. But I actually think it's going to be Elijah Moore this week. I think he's going to get more attention, and people are going to go over just to him. Jerry Jeudy, people are used to, will continue to do his thing, which has been good, by the way. Consistently, he's 65, 80 yards, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I think Elijah Moore is going to get a little less attention, and I think that's going to benefit him. Mm-hmm. And because of that, I actually think Elijah Moore is going to be the leading receiver this game.
Okay. I think Cedric Tillman, I think he goes for like 5 for 80. I think Elijah Moore goes for about, I'm going to make a lot of predictions here. I think Elijah Moore is going to be about 6 for 70, similar to what he did last week. And I think David Njoku is going to lead the team in receiving yards. I think he's going to have a bigger game than normal. I think he's going to have about 90 to 100 yards in this game and like 5 to 7 grabs. And then Jerry Jeudy, I think, if not him, I actually have Jerry Jeudy finishing next. I think Jerry Jeudy could be the leading receiver.
I think Moore leads with 90. I think Tillman's probably putting up more like 60. Like 5 for 60. Like good solid, but like other guys are getting attention.
Yeah. All right, so we covered those score predictions. We'll see what happens this coming up week. And
hopefully this is a week where we're right.
Hopefully we're right this week and we don't have to go back to predicting the Browns to lose every week. All right, we'll see you and enjoy the game.